Hi, I'm Kendall, and this is day 5 of Kendall Writes a Story. So welcome to this episode and to my channel. Most folks are new because this is a new show. So yeah, this is about me, Kendall, a mid-career professional writing what I hope will be a professional, good story for the first time. It is historical, narrative nonfiction, so these are based off of real-life people, and it was inspired by a photograph that my parents sent me. Which brings us to today's episode, which is about how you go about, and this is one of my favorites because my degree, my academic background is in history, so this is definitely up my alley and definitely speaking my language. So the question that we're going to answer today is, how do we take a picture that our parents sent us, or a building that we see out on the street, or maybe we're walking and we see, a lot of times old downtowns will have signs on the sidewalk of where a building used to be, say like Smith's Market or something. So the question we're answering is, how do we take these things like that, these random components we see in real life, and find out about them, right? We can't just like take a picture and Google it. We gotta do a little research. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got my screen grab on. I kind of want to walk us through how we did it here. There's two main resources that I'm going to cover today. I'm going to cover the Bureau of Land Management. I'm going to cover Sanborn maps. Both of these things, if you use both of these tools, you should be able to find out pretty much anything. If it exists, if the records exist, you should be able to find at least a hint of anything. You see, if you want to know where you live, what it used to be, what used to be, in your house or your apartment, these tools should help you do that. If you find steps in the woods, these tools should help you do that. So that aside, let's jump in. So first off, I have the map here of Little Rock, Arkansas, right? Basically, this is all Pulaski County. And this pin is where my parents saw the steps. So they sent me the picture, and I said, hey, when you get a chance, can you send me coordinates, or at least a pin, something like that? Give me somewhere. And that's all I had, and that's all we knew. So here's the pin, here are the coordinates. So the first tool is this, the Bureau of Land Management. So take a quick step back. All land in the United States, definitely west of the Mississippi, but most of it east of the Mississippi as well, is organized using a township and range system. And so essentially it's a grid system, right? Townships, I forgot which goes which, but I think townships go this way and ranges go this way, but it's basically a grid. And you can map any piece of land. So even a small ranch-style, tract-type house, on a 2,000-foot lot could be found with the system. First thing we'll do is we'll need to convert township and range, convert our coordinates into township and range. And literally you can go to anywhere. Like literally just go to Google and township range from coordinates, right? Everywhere. So I went ahead and did that here, and it gave us this. It's in township 3 north, range 12 west, and then I don't know why it gives us 2, but specifically section 32. So that's how we found. So we basically find a square that is township 3 north, range 12 west, and that would give us this square. And then it's divided into 4 sections, it's divided into 36 sections, little baby squares, and then that's where we go. So when we do that, we go over to our tool here. Now that we've figured out what township and range it is, we can go to our tool here, type it in, and it says search patents. So a thing about that. Patents are, I think my line was actually 29. So they're called land patents, is what they're called. And so it's basically when the land was first registered with the government, when it went from wilderness to something. That's what a land patent is. Not all places have land patents, but especially like west of the Mississippi, where there's a lot of homesteading, things like that, tons of land patents. So this is the first place that you can start. So when I put in our information, I get these two pieces of land. And so basically, I just kind of want to open them up. It'll give me a little information. It's 80 acres, and then I should be able to zoom in here, yeah, and see the land. So this is the section, right? This is section 29 of that township range. And then this is this is the township range, and then this is that section. And then when we zoom in, we can find the area. So we can see here that it is in, if we look at the southwest quarter of this square, and then look in the northeast quarter of that, that's how these work, then that's where this land grant was. So basically what I had to do was go through and see, there's 2 land grants in this section, and I had to see if either of those lined up with the cabin. And what I found was that this one did, which is for this fella named Abram Wade. And that's how I started. Now the other really cool thing is that there are images. This is where Abram received his land grant. Certificate number 276, application 4184, Little Rock, Arkansas. There he is, Abram Wade. And then he describes, I'm in the southwest quadrant, yada, yada, yada. This is it. It's got dates, Rutherford B. Hayes, right? So this is how the research starts with this document. Now, another really cool thing is we've got surveys from when this land was surveyed, how they've subdivided it, things that have happened over time, like if people bought it out, things like that, right? So this is how the story started. Yeah, it gives me a name, it gives me a time. And so from there, I was able to research Abram Wade, Little Rock, Arkansas, and found more. That'll be a different video, not today. But this is how we take a physical item and start to figure out the documentary history of it. And it's just super cool. You just take random steps and boom, Abram Wade. Okay, so that's the first tool. Now the second tool here is one of my favorites. It's called Sanborn Maps. So there's this company way back when in the 1800s, and they did it up until the 1930s and 40s, called Sanborn Fire Insurance Maps. And what they did is they made maps of every metropolitan area in the United States for fire insurance purposes. Incredibly detailed maps. Some of the things that you can see, so this is of Little Rock, Arkansas, and this is the Library of Congress. They've actually done a lot of work over the last 10 years digitizing a lot of these. So you can get a good amount of Sanborn maps for free on libraryofcongress.gov. But anyway, if you zoom in, this is just a random map of Little Rock. There's probably nothing spectacular here. But this is from the 1880s, I believe. And if you zoom super in, you can see these are fire insurance maps. So they needed to know what buildings were made of, who owned them, what was in them, was there electricity, was there a power plant, right? What type of building was it? Were there furnaces, were there stoves, things like that. So you can get some amazing detail about the historical makeup of cities and towns. For example, here's a county jail, the Edison Electric Light and Power Company. Right? So you can not only know what physically sat in a city, in a town, but you can also know the reach, right? I didn't know that Edison had a light and power company in Little Rock, Arkansas, but now I do. And so if I'm researching electricity or if I'm researching industrialization, that's a cool thing to know. You know, how did they get there? What did that involve? Anyway, the colors all mean different things. Blue is stone, red is wood usually. You can tell this is the U.S. Courthouse and Post Office, which still stands in Little Rock, Arkansas. So you can also start to learn when buildings were built, right? If this wasn't here, you would know, obviously it wasn't built here at this time. So these are the Sanborn maps. Super cool. They have them, like I said, for all different dates. These are the best if you're in an urban area or even suburban, but really urban area, and want to know, hey, what was where my apartment building is now, or where did the train station used to be, or what did this, and I used it a lot when I went to school. I would see all these really cool buildings that were, you know, just either derelict or not good buildings. I went to school in the Rust Belt. And so I would use these to look up and see what they were 100 years ago when they were built, you know, what kind of businesses my town hosted then. So Sanborn maps are a really cool way to get into that. You know, I found one of my hometown just outside Little Rock and sent it to my parents, and it was pretty amazing to see it. So anyway, these are the two tools that you can use, whether you're in a rural area where you can use the BLM, or you're in an urban area where you can use the Sanborn maps. So anyway, that's that. What I'm going to do next video, I'm not sure. I will probably start talking. So I'm in the process of writing Act 1 now. So I'll probably start talking about the story itself that I'm building and maybe some story craft. I've been doing a lot of following of the Save the Cat, which is a method using beats, and then I've also been following the story grid method as well. So I might talk about those a little bit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry, I will try to keep these under 10 minutes. Sorry this got long, but thanks for watching, and have a good one. All right, bye guys.